Soldiers, with and without their families, from the United States, Canada, Great Britain, France, Belgium, and Holland. Soldiers of all branches of the armed forces, volunteers and draftees, with one thing in common: they're stationed in Germany. Today, this nation of 76 million Germans in East and West is growing together again, after being divided for more than 40 years. And every soldier who was stationed here, alone through his physical presence on German soil, contributed to this peaceful union. As partners in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, they secured, together with the German armed forces, the freedom of this land. It is understandable that we hope to greet each and every departing soldier again in the future as a guest. Whether from across the Atlantic or from Europe, the NATO troops stationed in Germany have defended the freedom and safety of all the member nations. At the same time, they've contributed to the change from confrontation to cooperation in the relationship between East and West. Every soldier leaving Germany should remember that when packing for the trip home. A feeling of accomplishment can rightfully be taken along. Another thing which will surely accompany the soldier homewards is a picture of this country he served in. But this picture will be different for each individual soldier, made up of personal impressions and reminiscences. I can remember back when I was first unpacking this suitcase, so excited about being in Europe. It was just that I had absolutely no idea of where exactly in Europe I was. But during my time here, I've gotten a pretty good idea of Germany's size and position in the middle of the old world. To describe Germany's geographical position, you could say it borders in the north on the sea. To be more exact, it borders on two seas, the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. Hamburg, the largest city in the north, with 1.6 million residents. A third of the Germans live in metropolitan areas. Another third in rural areas. The rest live in small towns and villages, many of which still look like they did in the Middle Ages. As do the ancient castles along the Rhine, the major inland waterway, flowing past Cologne with its Gothic cathedral, one of the major landmarks of Christianity. Palaces and monasteries of the Baroque, an extravagant style which left its mark on this city, Munich, the capital of Bavaria, the gateway to the Alps. A jet would take less than an hour to fly from the northernmost sea to the Alps in the south. With its central position in the middle of Europe, Germany borders on 9 neighboring countries. In comparison to the United States or Canada, a small country with large contrasts. How did the foremaster get through that bottleneck? I found this Buddelschiff, or bottle ship, there where real windjammers still exist. The Hamburg Harbor, Germany's gateway to the world. Merchant cities of the Hanseatic League. The typical North German Gothic in brick. lovingly conserved Middle Ages in the midst of the pulsating present. Surrounded by fields, meadows, and seas, lies the Dutch headquarters in Zeedorf, near Zeven. Holland isn't far away, and the families of the soldiers enjoy coming to visit. That is, if the soldiers themselves aren't home on leave. Jogging may not be everyone's favorite form of recreation, but whatever they do, few spend their free time in the barracks. Clubs and shops in the area have adjusted to accommodate the boys from Holland. And over a beer, it's easy to establish contact with the natives. Many local clubs and organizations offer the chance for mutual recreation activities. For example, skydiving. That's a Funkenmariechen. The carnival in Cologne goes on for days, and everybody joins in and has a wild and crazy time. By the way, these are members of the Belgian Armed Forces who celebrate their own carnival here. Belgium is nearby, and where its troops are stationed, many a German city has taken on Belgian features. Most of the professional Belgian soldiers have brought their families to Germany. Buses bring the children from the surrounding towns to central Belgian schools. Competition with German schools and sporting events has led to good contacts between the two nations.
Mijn bevel. Open de gelederen. Arsch! De groof, de muts, corrigeren. De stand van de muts is niet in orde. Ja.
And after work, there's always the attraction of the surrounding countryside. Speaking of work, what do the Germans do? What keeps their economy going so strong? The German presence at trade fairs around the world effectively demonstrates the success of their socialized free market economy. Lacking raw materials, but rich in skilled labor and technical knowledge, that is characteristic of the German economy, with its strengths in the automobile, engineering, chemical, pharmaceutical, and electronic industries. These branches also produce the largest share of the German exports. Practically every third German lives from export. Now the German social free market economy must prove itself where formerly a centrally misplanned state economy ruled. In the new Eastern German states, this change has brought with it far-reaching social and economic problems, and at the same time an intensive pursuit of equitable solutions. The feeling of being in the driver's seat without moving an inch is what this simulator is all about. The reactions of drivers and vehicles to extreme situations can be safely tested and evaluated. Research is a key to success in the future, as in the field of solar energy or transportation. The trains of the future will travel nearly 400 kilometers an hour directly into the hearts of the cities, offering an alternative to air travel within Germany. Whether passengers or goods, the greatest percentage move along the roads. Trucks carry 3 times as much freight as the railroads. Inland shipping transports a little less cargo than the railways. Bonn on the Rhine. Since 1949, the seat of the German parliament and government. This function will be taken over again in the future by Berlin. Germany is doing its part in the building of a united Europe and trying to reach a consensus on global political problems. And the Rhine? Why is it so fine on the Rhine? Asks a famous German song. Many a castle or town along the Rhine or Mosel rivers owes its existence to the Roman occupation 2,000 years ago. And it was the ancient Romans who introduced wine to the area. Cheers. Prosit. À votre santé. The wine must be old and the girl young. That's why it's so fine along the Rhine.